Shora Bashemte. I am Callum Traveler. Welcome back to another episode of Blender for Korman for Beginners. I know it's been a hot minute since the last episode. Reason for that being, if you were paying attention to this last week, you'll have noticed that there was an event in Uru this last week where an explorer, one Wayne Todd, lost his railtoe book in some machinery, and it washed up ashore at the lake in the ferry terminal, and there was a whole off-screen search for the guy, and it was a cute little mini event. But, yeah, so today we're going to be doing, something related to the pod, and yet not related at all. So this is an import of Payafrin that I've had. It's just the pod. It's as bare bones original as it's the pod in the landscape. It's not got the sky or anything. Anyway, the reason that we're focusing on this today, I haven't even fixed out some of the texturing issues on some of these items in here, which is not actually going to be a problem for long. Basically what we're going to be doing is going to be importing pieces of the pod, and I'm going to be importing it into a new Blender file. There's a couple reasons for that. I will get to those as I go along. Yeah, so basically what we're just going to start doing is file, append, and then we'll just go to our pod concept revisit. We'll go to our Payafrin raw import, and we're just going to go to our objects. And again, this is just like what we were doing before when we were messing around with the Sanskrit and we were importing all the pod stuff originally into Payafrin. We're just gonna be selecting items. In this case, we're starting with come on, where is it? Pod number plate 01. Wow, that's really far down. Yeah, we're just gonna start appending objects. We're just gonna start appending all of the pod objects. Anyway, the reason that we're doing this is I'm gonna be putting in a copy of Payafrin into the H somewhere. I don't know yet if it's gonna be visitable, or if it's just gonna be through a live feed camera. So I've brought over all of my important bits of the Payafrin pod. At least I think I have. I just grabbed every single thing that seemed to be missing a gap somewhere, and this is all everything that is in the pod. I've saved this as pod template base in case I ever want to make pods that are upright, and do pods that are, based on the same template and not part of the, all of the other stuff that I'm about to be doing. For the moment, this is good. This is all I need to do. I'm going to go File. I'm going to do Save As this time. And this time I'm going to save it as Payafrin pod askew blend. Okay. I'm noticing that there's probably a whole lot of extra stuff here that probably doesn't actually need to be in here. Like, and I'm gonna make sure that I have my Lincoln point renamed. Yeah. I'll rename you Lincoln Point Payphone Old. And then I'm gonna go back to my world. I'm gonna create a new page ID. And then this is gonna be PayPod Old. And then I'm actually gonna bring up our normal Payphone blend, and I'm gonna check to make sure what pages I have. So I got 6 pages. I need this to be page ID 7. So that way it's not colliding with any of the other stuff. Or I could do the easy trick of renaming it all to pod and now pay pod old. And now if I go and check, yep, all of that carried over. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so now, yeah, we are here in our Payphone pod here. So let's see where, yes, you will notice that I have severely expanded it a bit. So let's see where our XYZ are pointing. So, okay, so I'm gonna need our new pod to be way over here, red and between red and green. So let's make sure I'm getting my lines up here. Okay. And let's crank up our clip distance by a couple values. There we go. Ah! I accidentally imported a thing I did not mean to import. Cylinder 16. Well, I suppose you can stay for the moment. It just means I'm going to have to do something. Get this really out of the way. Let's drag this out. Drag this out. Come on. Come on. Come on. Drag this out. Drag it out. Okay, that probably should be everything. Okay, lovely. That is everything out of the way. And now, now begins the task of importing everything over again. Look at all these items I imported, huh? Well, fortunately it should be easier this time rather than my henpecking, because if I go to my file, come on, where is it? File browser? There we go. No, file browser's not it. I need, what is it? I need info. There we go. File, append, and then I'm going to go to my Payphone pod askew. I'm going to go to my objects, and I'm just going to select it all. Yep. That is everything I've selected. The question is, where is it? It's all the way out there. Okay, I definitely brought that in way too far. I brought that way too far out. I mean, that could work reasonably, but, that's still a bit too far out. At least for my liking. Now, Oopsie, let's not save that. I screwed that up. Okay, let's, first and foremost, let's bring this back in a bit more. So it's not quite so far out. Yeah, that should do the trick. Okay. Let's try that again. Pod 12. Okay. Make sure that I am not selecting anything. Okay. Rather, if I am selecting something, let it be something that's going to be of no importance to anyone. It's the dummy avatar. It's not even added to the... Okay. First and foremost, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to add a new page. This is going to be PayPod old. That's our ID 7. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go info, file, append, pay a friend pod askew, object, and make sure that I have it saved before I do this. Import. And there's everything out there. Way further out still. And it looks like nothing is getting dragged around in our main age here. Okay. That is, reasonably good. Okay, so, geography-wise, let's actually skew this out by a bit. Yeah, that should do the trick. That should do the trick. Yep. Although, yeah, no, you know what? I'm just gonna bring it in as close as I can without it. It doesn't need to be realistically all the way out there. It just needs to be far out enough that it's, you know, not gonna collide with anything I plan on doing. So yeah, now we have a whole pod out here with a whole extra sky dome. So, can we visit this? I believe we can visit this if I just export it right now. Shall we visit this? Let's visit this. And I don't need this open anymore. Export age. Let's see what happens. Something gloofed up, and it was the camera region. MT station camera, rail camera lacks appropriate rail keyframes. Okay, let's see. MT station. Let's just get rid of the cam regions. And then save this, because as soon as I close this, yep, there goes all Blender. Let's open that again. This is going to be one of those bits where now that I've imported all this extra stuff, I'm going to have to be very careful to make sure that it works. Make sure that nothing gives me grief. Hey, lovely. That actually worked that time. Let's launch this. Just out of curiosity, does it all stay? Yep, it did all stay PayPod hold. So, let's give this a try. Avatar, spawn next. Avatar, spawn next. Spawn next. And I forgot to give it collision. Ah, what the heck did I do? Yep, STL the script problem. Okay. Let's do this again. Just because these are all active does not mean that they have collision. Because I goofed up. Okay. Let's go collider. Does this have collision? No, it does not. That has collision. That has collision. That has this is collision. This has collision. This has collision. This has collision. Okay. Strange. I guess I missed a collision piece somewhere. Okay. Collision. Triangle mesh. Terrain. Collision. Yes, evidently I forgot to give copy over collision for the floors somehow. Oops, no, I don't want to add a camera region, I want to add a collision region. Triangle mesh, terrain. This is the problem when you're importing things. If you're not being super careful, you're gonna miss something, and it could cause you some very weird grief. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Export age. Let's launch it again. Yay! It worked! All of my colors are absurdly bonked up, but... Hey, we have the pay-efferent pod in here now. And it looks like all of the camera mechanics I imported carried over for the ladder region, which is good. Looks like I missed some stuff with the levers. But okay, that's manageable. That is manageable. Oh, I missed actually importing the buttons. Ah, how lame. Anyway, yeah, so we have the pod in here now. Yeah, cameras are going a little funky in here. But... Oof. Ooh, that is glitchy. Yikes. That is Z-frame fighting right there. That is not something we want to be seeing. But... yeah, you know what? I'm willing to live with this for the moment. Looks like we have the pay-a-friend pod technically imported. It is not the way I want it to be imported. We'll come through and we'll adjust textures and whatnot later. We'll mess with the color regions and so forth and all that. But for the moment, this is the base of the thing, and it is in. It is properly in. Yeah, ignore the weird wonky colors. That's just ZLZ having imported it, and it has no idea what to make of the particular textures that I've used here. So, yeah, okay. But yeah, this is a bit of progress, I suppose. Okay. So, anyway, all of this aside, if I go to solids here, what my colors am I looking at here? Ugh. Let's just set this to 800 across the board. Get rid of that pink. Do the same thing. 100, 800, 800. There we go. Let's go through and get all my yellows. Thanks to Dubes for walking me through it. Here in what is all scenes normally, it's the outliner. You want to select orphan data, and you'll see that it lists all of the materials I have that are currently unlinked to an object. And if I hit purge all, and now if I look, I've now cleared out a bunch of my extraneous duplicate textures, which is good. That said, there's still a few objects that are still using multiples of the same textures. I'm going to go through and continue cleaning that up. Seriously, thanks, Dubes. You're a lifesaver. I couldn't just have things nice and simple. Nope. I could not have things nice and simple. My buttons are all, and some of my buttons and levers are all, under things, which is, not fun. Honestly, here's one of my switches. It's way over here. Even though I was grabbing all of that and moving it, and nope. Well, as much as that sucks, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that. That was a bit of work, but I've gotten rid of all my extra duplicate textures. And despite the fact that I got my friggin' lever back and went to the trouble to move all the buttons aren't showing up. Well, the buttons aren't important, I guess. Lever's the important bit. Got the lever. Yeah, okay. That's some good work for today. I'm gonna call it a break for now, actually. I am very worn out from what I just managed to do. So, okay, yeah, we're gonna take a break from this, and then we're gonna come back, and we will come back to this later.